Quake 2 for Xbox 360. I've always wanted to talk about this game because some people aren't aware that this game exists on the 360. I even hear people wanting id to make a Xbox Live arcade port of this game, but it's pretty much useless to make one because of this version that we have here. But then again, I do want to support it at the same time, and you will find out once you watch this video. So Quake 2 for the Xbox 360. To get this game, you have to buy Quake 4 for the Xbox 360 version, and it simply has a bonus disc, and that bonus disc is like some making, the making of Quake 4, all the behind the scene type of stuff, and then you have the full version of Quake 2. And Quake 2 for the Xbox 360 is simply a straight port of the PC version. There are some minor changes, like the music is not completely the same. It uses some of the expansion packs music, which is good because they are just as awesome as the original. It features split screen support too, and I believe they're both compatible for multiplayer and co-op. They also go up to 4-player. Now all of this stuff does make it sound like a great port, but wait till I get into the issues because I'm just starting with the good stuff right now. I love the fact that it's widescreen, so it won't have any black bars. It runs at 60 frames per second. It's a very solid frame rate experience indeed. There are some drops, which I will mention them later on. The controls are fully customizable, which is beautiful. Enough said, because this game does got like a lot of stuff that you wanna properly map to get that comfort zone out of yourself. There are a good amount of options you can change or play around with, so that's a plus. The game comes with Quake 4, but it doesn't add up the price, so it's essentially a free add-on for your money that you bought Quake 4 with. And I think that's pretty much the good stuff I can say about this version. Now for the bad parts. Oh my god, the load times. It's very disappointing. It is manageable, but it's sad that it takes like 15 to 20 seconds to load a map, and the Xbox 360 is simply a high-end computer when, Quake 2 is being played. It's really sad that my PC can have faster load times than this version, and my PC isn't the best too, so this is definitely a flaw. It's also sad that when you first load up a map, like you just boot up the game and you're ready to play it, it takes like 40 seconds just to load that freaking map. It's just really sad. Like, that's a facepalm moment right here. This is a really old game. How come, id didn't like try to lower the load times? Because seriously, it's an old game. Why wouldn't they do it? Next is the aiming. They feel so weird. I think the horizontal aiming is okay, but I noticed that there's no precision aiming, so you can't like gently aim, just like when you're sniping a target, and it does get annoying at times. It really makes me rely more on the movement than my actual aiming. However, the vertical aiming is very poorly designed. I'm playing this game with my brand new Xbox 360 controller, and it drifts because the vertical axis simply has like no dead zone. It's just so loose, and it's hard to aim accurately too, especially compared to the mouse and keyboard on the PC version. This part is disappointing. Wow. Did they forget to, tweak the controls? The horizontal axis plays better, then why doesn't the vertical, is on the same level? Matter of fact, it should have just fixed both of them and make it more equal to the mouse. Now for the frame rate drops. There are some moments where the game gets a huge drop for some weird reason, and I don't know why, but I guess it is kind of rushed in a way. But most of the time, it's a very smooth experience, but I just want to let you guys know. Here's another thing that this version suffers. There's no online multiplayer, and that was one of the bigger things about Quake 2. So you're just getting it for the single player experience at the end of the day. The game also has achievements, but they don't give you any gamer scores for some weird reason. It's all 0 points. The field of view has also been lowered from the default 80 field of view from the PC version. I think 80 could have been fine. I understand why they did it because of the high frame rate and because you're playing a console game. Also, what that means is having a high field of view will give people motion sickness because of the distance radius. Still though, I believe they should have kept it at 80. It was just perfect and you could see the gun more clearer. Overall, Quake 2 for the Xbox 360, it is somewhat a rushed port, but then again, it's free and you kind of have to expect that there's going to be some stupid issues within the game. I think it's probably worth the purchase, even though Quake 4 is really meh in the single player department, and the 360 version could have been better, so much better. But I think it was worth the 15 bucks I paid back then, and it should be a lot cheaper nowadays. I also think Quake 2 is definitely worth it for the price alone because it's a great game, and this version does do a fairly decent job if you're more into console gaming than PC gaming. I mentioned the flaws more than the good stuff, but I think the fact that you're playing Quake 2, it really make you forgive some of the flaws.